The man woke up. It was unexpected, but Ne Tian had actually revived. He was the first heavenly god of war who was highly respected. The mere mention of his name made the entire realm of the gods tremble. But on their wedding night, he died at the hands of his fiancée, Luo Ziyan. Had she been plotting all this from the very beginning of their acquaintance? Perhaps his own accomplishments had brought him to this fate. He started coughing. His blood was black. The boy guessed it was a sign of poisoning. Suddenly, memories of the man with blue hair sneering at the so-called genius flashed through his mind. Could a trash with ruined meridians belong to the Yang family? It became clear that the young master of the Yang family had been poisoned by the Ba family and was in a weakened state. And then he was repoisoned by a Yang family's petty servant who gave him a yuan pill that restores injuries and qi. After all, the family's rightful master Yang is too worthless. However, since he has been reborn in this body, there is a need to take revenge on everyone. Namely, the ones who betrayed and killed the real owner of the body. But first, the man needs to regulate his breathing and remove the poison from this body. So he began to meditate. Something caught his attention, and it was something very worthwhile. As it turned out, the Starstone had indeed revived with Ne Tian. His mind was racked with various thoughts, but then he started laughing. This was all very good, for in this life, he would definitely become the lord of the heavenly realm. Suddenly, another man burst into his room and informed him that they were in trouble. People from the Ba family came and forced the child to marry. The man asked what the Ba family wanted. He told the subordinate to calm down and slowly tell what had happened. The subordinate noticed that this is definitely the owner of the family, but today he is acting somehow calm, which is unusual for him. He explained that people from the Ba family had come and brought someone to Miss Jia with the intention of taking her in marriage. Ne Tian asked how old Miss Jia was. This little girl is only 9 years old and is forced to marry the stupid third young master of the Ba family. He clearly didn't expect to hear that. Ne Tian would never let this happen. The people from the Ba family dared to make such a suggestion. Today the man will rise up and finally show them their rightful place. Brother Satong was asked to sign it. They were in the conference room. After this marriage contract is signed, the Yang family will fall under the protection of the Ba family and will be able to live a miserable existence in Yangcheng City. Isn't that wonderful? For many years, the real power of the Yang family was in the hands of the family's business manager, Yang Satong. That scumbag drank the deadly poison he had laced with. Very soon, the master's place will be his. In the beginning, it would be best to cooperate with the Bia family and wait for the moment when he could lure enough people to his side. The blue-haired man appeared to be the eldest young master in the Ba family, Ba Ziyan. And next to him was the Ba family's third young master, Ba Ziking. He was anticipating how this little girl would become his daughter-in-law. Yang Jia replied to the third uncle that she had no intention of marrying him. She would rather die than do that. There were tears in the girl's eyes. The Ba family has already offended an inordinate number of people, as well as poisoned the family's former trash master. So now they want to matchmake their douchey young master. It is absolutely impossible for this girl to give her consent to the wedding. All of this is the fault of their scumbag ex-master. If it wasn't for him, they wouldn't be in such serious trouble. The old man asked if the girl doesn't like the Ba family's third young master. Or does she look down on the Ba family? The third young master has a noble appearance. Or perhaps she just thinks that this guy is just not worthy of her. One can only laugh with noble looks and stately manners. But Ziyang should open his eyes and stop this nonsense. He has crossed all possible boundaries. The subordinates didn't expect their scum head to show up here. What is he even doing here if he was beaten like a hunted animal, and now he dares to come out here? Yes, he wants to slap his face in the mud once again. Young Satong also didn't expect to see this scum at all. Ba Ziyan began to mock the former great head of the Yang family's scum. Yesterday, this guy was lying face down in a muddy puddle and writhing in pain, and today he's frolicking and jumping around. The blue-haired man already thought he was dead. Yan Satong had seen with his own eyes how this guy had taken the poison he had given him. How could he even survive after that? Ne Tian noticed that the manager was surprised to see his head of the Yang family alive. The man immediately stood up and wondered what he was doing here. He'd better get out of here now. After all, important matters are being decided here. But why does the head of the family have to leave? Especially when an important family matter is being decided. The former owner of this body was called Yang Tian. The third uncle asked to listen to his words and go back to heal his wounds. This was not the right place for him to be right now. Yang Tian started to approach him, and the man didn't realize what he wanted to do. The man explained that he is the head of the family. Therefore, he wants his uncle to vacate his place as head. This statement was too much of a surprise for everyone present. The old man started shouting that he is Yang Tian's third uncle, and right now he is treating the elders with disdain. But he was the head of the family from the beginning, and that place was originally his. Now that he has returned, the uncle must be obedient, and then obediently give up the place. This trash has lost all shame and conscience for everything. He's definitely just looking for death. So uncle will teach him a lesson. He was using some unknown technique. Yang Tian didn't know what it was himself. And what's most amazing is that even though the guy didn't know what the technique was, he was still able to dodge it. Uncle didn't expect that he would actually be able to dodge either. The meridians of this trash had been destroyed. So how on earth was he able to avoid this fatal blow? The guy himself realized that it was very dangerous. Fortunately, he had learned the flying swan technique first. Otherwise, he would have died from this strike. However, he still didn't know what this mysterious power in his body was. But his uncle won't stop there, and he'll still try to kill him. Suddenly another old man intervened in their fight, and he wouldn't let his uncle do it. He stopped him. It was a great elder of the Yang family, namely Yang Ne. The great elder wondered who gave him the right to attack the head of the family in the first place. Had this old man forgotten about the existence of the great elder? But Yang Satong replied that he wouldn't dare to do that, so he had to retreat. The elder had seen what Yang Tian was able to pull off, so he could say that his strength had finally recovered. Instead of letting uncle turn the Yang family into a puppet of the Ba family, it would be better to help the young head first and let him handle the situation himself. The grand elder declared that from now on he was no longer the manager of the family's affairs. From now on, all family affairs will be handled by the true head of the family, namely Yang Tian. The old man wanted to object to this somehow, but the great elder interrupted him and asked him if he had any objections. Uncle had to answer that he agreed. He suggested that the head of the family return to the business of matchmaking with the Ba family. Yang Tian guessed that this old man was avoiding unnecessary hassle. With just a few words, he was able to pull the protagonist himself out of this delicate situation. He looked at the piece of paper and realized that the prenuptial agreement was already ready. It seemed that the Bei family was determined to get consent, and they only confirmed this statement. Now that Yang Tian's place as the head of the family fully belongs to him, he must sign this marriage contract. But the girl shouted for her brother not to do so. He touched the little girl's head and told her to be sure. Being her brother, he would never sign such a stupid and ridiculous prenup. So Mr. Yang said he wasn't going to sign a marriage contract. That was all right, for his family members would never be bound by the bonds of marriage to idiots. He broke the prenup. The old man stated that he was digging a grave for the Yang family in this way. Without the Ba family as a patron, the old man promises that within 6 months, the Yang family will definitely disappear from Yangcheng City. But this old man better not talk about matters that concern the Yang family with such a tone. If it wasn't for his father's tragic death 2 years ago, the Ba family wouldn't even be able to stand in this place. But the present time is completely different from the past. The man decided to give him a chance for the sake of the future head of the Ba family. Once he signs the marriage contract, the Yang family will become the blue-haired man's dog. But Yang Tian doesn't want to tolerate this anymore, so he slapped this arrogant man. The strength of the protagonist Bazian's tooth couldn't withstand it. The man who was holding onto his cheek asked, "Yes, how dare this Yang Tian hit him?" He should actually be glad that the main character's meridians hadn't fully recovered yet. All he did was slap him. If you guy had hit him seriously, he would have been dead by now. He learned the flying swan technique. It would pay off in the future. It was only a pity that his body was still too weak at the moment. The Grand Elder remarked that even he wouldn't have the same strength as Yang Tian, even if he combined the power of natural phenomena 3 times. It was still a joy that the talent of the head of the family had finally returned. Now one could hope for the Yang family to rise as soon as possible. Uncle didn't know that the main character's movement speed was so fast. How could he even do that? Suddenly, the man started shouting that Yang Tian was looking for death. Does he still think that he is back to being the genius he was 3 years ago? Right now, he was nothing more than ordinary trash. Yesterday, he was lying in the mud, and Ziyan was wiping his feet on him. The old man asked the young master not to be so impulsive, as they were visiting the Yang family. Yang Tian started to provoke this man. If he wanted to wipe his feet on him again, then let him just try. He is too arrogant since he wants to step on the first god of war, the best in the heavens. He's just a pathetic resident in one of the 3,000 worlds and doesn't even know who the protagonist was. Even the courageous fighting dragon emperor, Ne Tian, asked the god of war for mercy. He will never dare to say bad things behind his back again. The protagonist is too magnanimous and will only allow him to kneel in the palace hall for 15,000 days to atone for his sins. Yeah, that bastard is just relying on the fact that the Ba family is in his territory and he's numerically outnumbered. As soon as he steps outside his family's territory, Ziyan will definitely grab the protagonist and beat him like a pathetic dog. The protagonist was amused by his words about the pathetic dog. Ne Tian used a divine finger, and the man was already on his knees. Of course, he didn't understand how he could kneel in front of Ne Tian. This little puppy had better be careful with his words next time, or else Ne Tian wouldn't be able to guarantee that he would remain unharmed. Others were wondering what this incredible skill was. He's too cool. The old man helped the man up. Ba Ziyan has been disgraced thousands of times in front of Ne Tian. He swore that he would take revenge on him. The Yang family's situation was like a building that was about to collapse. So how were they able to launch such a powerful counterattack? What fun it was to watch the young master of the Ba family being so embarrassed. With that level of threat, he would be able to scare except for children. And he's also trying to scare the protagonist. As it turned out, in a month and a half, there would be a martial arts trial in the city. It was on it that Ba Ziyan would kill off the members of the Yang family with extreme cruelty. This kid dared to offend a young master from the Ba family. The Yang family will definitely suffer many accidents. Thanks to this, the main character learned that in a month and a half, there will be some kind of test. He has to wait and get to it. The old men came up to him and rebuked him for his foolishness. Even if he wanted to refuse the Ba family's offer, there was no need to insult the young master of that family. This time, they had insulted the Ba family very badly, so they wouldn't even have another chance to establish themselves in Yangchun City. Why did this family head constantly bring them disasters for the family? Ne Tian inquired about the Great Elder's opinion. The guy asked if he had handled the situation well. The Grand Elder replied that the head of the family had done very right. The Yang family's reputation could now be considered worthy. From now on, the Ba family will know that they can't just bully their family. Apparently, there is another understanding person in the Yang family. As the Great Elder said, from now on, all matters of the Yang family would be handled by him personally. If matters are ordinary and don't carry an ounce of importance, then he doesn't need to be disturbed. The martial arts competition will start soon, so the head of the family should improve himself, and he will take care of the daily routine affairs of the family. The head of the family had just brought their family back to life and led it. The Grand Elder asked if he would like to say a few words. From now on, no matter what happens to the Yang family, the head of the family makes one promise. From today, whoever dares to provoke the Yang family will only get one thing, and that is death. Everyone started clapping for the head of the family. They began to claim that he was too gorgeous. He had said everything he wanted to say, so they could disperse. People shouted that the former genius of the city, namely Ne Tian, was back, and he is more sophisticated than he was 3 years ago. The Yang family will regain their former position and raise their reputation. Uncle's 3 years of hard work shouldn't be in vain. They will see who will be the real head of the family. The martial arts trials are soon enough. In about a month and a half, he needs to check his body condition first. The most unpleasant thing was the deadly toxicosis that had almost destroyed the 9 meridians. If the effects of this poison were not neutralized, even the body of a 9th-rank immortal emperor would fly into oblivion. The guy didn't expect at all that the starstone from his past life would be reborn with him, and it seems that this will give a start on building his 10th meridian in this life. In his best years, starstone could be obtained in the Dark Sea. Getting it wasn't much of a hassle. Back then, he was in the palace in the Dark Sea fighting monsters. This starstone contains a very powerful life force. Every day, he nourished it with the essence of his blood, hoping to obtain it, and so he was able to be reborn with the starstone, so he should have a good connection with it. And so he felt something begin to happen. It was exactly how he felt. This must be his 10th meridian. Guy noticed that the starstone was blocking the energy of 9 billion stars. He must allow all that star energy to awaken. After that, even if the 9 Divine Realm Emperors joined forces, they wouldn't be enough to stop Ne Tian. He started with the power of the first star. Ne Tian wanted to awaken her, and now the 9 damaged meridians had been repaired. and he had formed a new 10th meridian. That's pretty cool. Only the power of the first star has been discovered, and it has already reached its limit. It's just unimaginable. But still, even though he has restored his meridians, there is still poison inside them. That bastard uncle poisoned him just to take over as the head of the family. Sooner or later, he will destroy this Yang Satong. The toxin in his body is the juice of a poisonous flower. It destroys the meridians. Although he restored them, he was unable to get the toxin out. To get rid of it, you need at least a second-order medicine. The boy wondered if he would even find something like this in the small city of Yangcheng. First, he needs to go to the market to try his luck there. If it didn't work out, he would go to the Li Yun mountain range. In front of him, there were two servants who hurriedly started to leave to make way for the head of the Yang family. A guy came to an old man and asked if he was the head of finance. The old man replied that the head should not overdo it. His body is still too weak, and he needs to rest as much as possible, so he shouldn't hang around aimlessly outside. Ne Tian ordered the man to give him 100 gold coins, but the chief financial officer started to object. Where a scumbag like him could spend so much money, the main character slapped him in the face and told him how dare he talk to the head of the family like that. Why would someone like him even want to know where he spends his money? That little rat bastard really dared to hit him. He doesn't know who he's messing with. The chief financial officer started to explain that he was on very good terms with Yang Satong, and the protagonist started to beat him up even more. One would have thought that the chief financial officer would have given up his spirit from such a series of blows. Now, he can tell the protagonist who he is. Other people burst in on him, surprised that the head of the family is so strong that he dared to beat up the chief financial officer. The chief finance officer explained that he is the younger brother of the Yang family business manager. He's really a bastard. If the protagonist knew that he was Yang Satong's younger brother, he would have beaten him up even more. Everyone here also saw that this man had expressed his disrespect for the head of the family, and had provoked him to be formidable himself. Others agreed with the guy's words and added that he should have been killed in the first place. This bastard only knows how to hurt innocent people. The guy asked if there was anyone related to finance among them. A man named Yang Anmin replied that he was a petty clerk of the finance hall. Ne Tian was pleased to meet this man, and he appointed him as the new master of the financial call. Therefore, Ne Tian now asked him to give him 100 gold coins. Yang Anming asked him to wait for a while, and after a couple of minutes, the man brought the 100 gold coins that the head of the family had asked for. The guy praised him for his good work and replied that the head of the family had high hopes for him. Hesitantly, he became the master of the financial hall. The man always knew that someday he would stand out and be first in everything. The first place he will try to find a cure for the toxin his dear uncle poisoned him with will be the marketplace of this city. The guy noticed that there were only low-ranked herbs here for some reason. Apparently, he would have to go to the Li Yun mountain range. He can no longer procrastinate on removing the poisonous flower toxin from his body. And then he felt a familiar aura. He spotted his old buddy, namely a sword that ripped open the heavens and decapitated opponents. 100 years had passed, and since he had been reborn, this ball had to be reborn as well. That was why they had met him. He must definitely get that sword back. The man said that this young man has very good taste. This broken sword is an ancient artifact that is made of an unusual material. When the man received it, he started doing research on it. But until now, he still cannot find out what material this sword was forged from. The protagonist didn't expect the sword of the first rank of the heavenly realm to fall on the ground of one of the 3,000 small worlds. It's both ridiculous and outrageous. He asked the stall owner how much he wanted for this sword. If this sword was not damaged, it was at least a third-order war sword. But he saw the young man's love for collecting ancient artifacts and offered to bargain for hundreds of silver coins. Ne Tian agreed to buy it. Who would have thought that this man would give away such a precious sword with a smile, and even at a discount? The shopkeeper said that he had a bunch more ancient artifacts. He wondered if the guy was interested in them. But the boy replied that he was not interested. He gave 10 gold coins and the shopkeeper could keep the change. The shopkeeper was pleased with the young man's generosity. Suddenly another girl approached him and told him to stand still. Memories of a martial arts trial flashed through his mind. There he had fought against this very girl. She had swung her leg at him, and he had complimented her legs. So she wanted to kill the pervert. This girl's name is Mo Si. She's been waiting for him to return his talent for 3 years, and she was desperate. From the fact that she had waited for him for 3 years, He assumed that she might be secretly in love with him. But in reality, she had lost to him 3 years ago at the martial arts trials in Yangcheng City. All this time, she had been trying to perfect her skills, and this year, she would definitely defeat him. He was amused by her saying that she wanted to win him over. He almost said the word in love completely, but the girl didn't understand what he meant, so she asked what he was talking about. But the guy replied that he was only thinking too much, and she called him a pervert again. It was hard to understand why the girl reacted that way. The guy asked if her meridians were still at the beginning level. The girl wondered in response why he even cared what level her meridians were at. Even if she did, she wouldn't have any trouble defeating this guy. A man passing by recognized the head of the Yang family's garbage, Ne Tian. This guy hadn't appeared for a long time, so he had time to think that he had died. He sensed her 9 meridians aura and assumed that her 9 meridians had been stuck at the entry level for at least 2 years. The girl was a bit puzzled by his words, and she still asked why he cared. The guy replied that she was having meridian problems. There are too many people here, so we need to find some deserted place to talk about it. But Mo Shi called him a pervert again and asked him what he wanted to do to her and why he wanted to find a deserted place. She cried out, wondering if he wanted to do all sorts of indecent things to her. Her assumption puzzled him. Ne Tian explained that she was mistaken. In fact, he just wanted to talk to her. For the umpteenth time, she had already called him a pervert and asked him what he wanted to talk to her about. Guy assumed that every day for 2 years, her lower abdomen burned with a searing pain, and this burning pain was doubly intensified during sunlight activity. The girl didn't understand how he could know about it if she didn't tell anyone about it. The others looked at them and realized that this Ne Tian really is scum. He's starting to talk some nonsense. The boy asked if now they could go to a private place and talk there. The girl said to follow her. Others said that he is really a scumbag who has no sense of shame. He flirts with the girl and doesn't even blush. And is this girl so easy to persuade to have fun since she didn't even reject such a scum? Suddenly, the Ba family arrived. Ba Ziyan asked how he dared to come out of the Yang family's domain after punching him in the face and humiliating the Ba family. The others suggested that the 2 of them would definitely be killed. The great young master of the Ba family is a spoiled child, and he still has the courage to appear to him after what happened. The boy wondered if his face had already passed. What about his bruised knees? He stood on them so sincerely in front of the head of the Yang family. For the shame he brought upon him and Ba's family, he will repay him 100-fold today. How arrogant of him. He doesn't even learn from his mistakes. But suddenly Mo Shi blocked his punch. What's even going on since the eldest daughter of the Mo family decided to reach out to the scum? Ba Ziyan asked the girl what she was doing. They are on a shopping street where private fights are prohibited. But it was obvious that the girl was just protecting Ne Tian. The guy wondered if she really liked him. But Mo Shi just told him not to talk nonsense. What if he says that their feelings with Mo Shi are mutual and they are in a relationship? Would Ba Ziyan be jealous? She told me not to say something so stupid. Well, since Mo Shi doesn't like him, he will try to take out his anger and resentment on this simple-minded brute like Ba Ziyan. He dared to challenge him, so the guy uses the stone palm. Even resorting to this technique, the power of Ba Ziyan's punch wouldn't even exceed a ton. The protagonist responded with a punch of his own. The attacking man was thrown back against the wall. He wanted to fight Ne Tian, except he didn't take into account that their strength was at completely different levels. Mo Shi noticed that Ne Tian's strength was so powerful that it was obvious that all the rumors about the scum were lies. The protagonist wants him to remember this moment forever. Because today he will turn Ba Ziyan into the ultimate trash. And now he will be the ultimate trash. The guy stepped on it. Ba Ziyan asked not to do this, and the others realized that Ne Tian's strength was simply unimaginable. Now their roles had reversed. The guy turned to the girl and said that it was time for them to leave. She looked at the picture that unfolded before her eyes. The girl asked if he wasn't afraid of the Ba family's revenge at all since he had turned Ba Ziyan into scum. Ne Tian just started pretending and said that he was very afraid of them. He even stays up nights to avoid being attacked by the Ba family, which was obviously a lie. The girl asked, since he was so afraid, why did he turn this guy into scum? The guy explained that the Ba family wanted to force the Yang family to become their chain tail by marrying off a little girl, which made him furious. They should have thought of the consequences beforehand before doing such a thing. He even treated them in a downward manner, otherwise this Ba Ziyan would have been a corpse long ago. Moxi explained that Bi Ziyang's second brother, namely Ba Ziliang, used to be a warrior of the Yuanling country. If he finds out that the protagonist has crippled his brother, he won't just let it go. Ne Tian doesn't mind this Ba Ziliang coming over. He is just a warrior of the Yuanling country. In half a month, the current main character's body will make a breakthrough. He had also heard that the girl cared a great deal for young Mr. Ben. So the guy assumed that she liked him. But this shameless guy better think first before saying anything about Ben. Otherwise, he will pick himself to pieces. Guy decided to drop the subject and get back to business. He asked when she had reached the 9 meridians. The girl replied that it was 2.5 years ago. After obtaining the 9 meridians, she began to feel a burning sensation in her lower abdomen that turned into a searing pain. He asked if her pain increased several times during the hot time of the day. The girl was shocked, not understanding how he knew all this. Her patience and will are truly worthy of respect. Perhaps he will find a way to help her with her awakening spirit. But first, he wants to look at the lower part of her belly. The girl was embarrassed and wanted to slap him, but the guy was ahead of her and said he had to see the phoenix seal on her lower abdomen. That was the only way he could find out how to help her. He's actually helping her because of his respect for her willpower. Only people who are very strong in spirit can endure the phoenix seal for 2.5 years. If she wants, he can just leave right now. Moxi agreed. The girl began to pick up her clothes. She got embarrassed again, whereupon she called the guy's pervert and asked what he was looking at so intently. The guy replied that he was looking around. He started counting from 1 to 9. His hand reached for her stomach, and he was telling her not to move. He looked dazedly at his hand. The girl asked if he was all right. It was much worse than he had originally thought. If he didn't find a way to awaken the spirit within 3 days, she might die. But the guy tried to calm her down and told her that as long as she followed him, nothing would happen to her. There is a rather unusual way to quickly awaken the spirit. The protagonists pointed to the side and said that they needed to head to the Liyun mountain range first. Even her father said that this mountain range is a very dangerous place. They shouldn't go there anyway. But he quickly took her hand and pulled her out of his thoughts. Ne Tian said to just follow him and not to move a single step away from him. Liyun's mountain guys are a great place for self-cultivation. Yang Tian has returned, so let his father, friends, tribesmen, and even enemies just wait. The girl pointed ahead, for there she spotted an ice dusting. She was glad that the burning sensation would lessen. Yang Tian shouted for her to be careful. But the girl walked merrily along, not noticing absolutely nothing in front of her. This snake is of impressive size, so she must not touch it, lest she provoke it. Since her phoenix of the 9th meridian has the power to defeat the ice snake, she apparently likes being around it. But it's easy for a guy to say that, since that snake isn't looking at him, it's her. But the most important thing now is not to be afraid of her. The girl should just smile at her, because that's the best way to counteract fear. Moxi asked if the guy was sure that this snake wouldn't be able to defeat her. Yang Tian replied that he was sure. But if a fight broke out, it would be best not to look around during the battle. The snake attacked her and the girl started screaming for Yang Tian to help her. She began to fly away from the snake. The protagonist used the elemental sound reinforcement technique. The girl wondered if he had scared her on purpose. But it was obviously a great accident. The girl had frightened herself because of her overly panicky behavior. Moxi recognized this technique. She knew that usually only masters of the Yuanling country were capable of striking the sky. So she didn't understand how he could do this to a 9th meridian animal. But who even said that he was an ordinary person? She is accompanied by a genius like the main character, so she can be calm. The guy called her Moxi's little sister. Who did he call Moxi's little sister? The girl protested. What opened before her eyes was quite beautiful. These were all first-stage medicines, namely ice wheatgrass and first-grade ice herb roots. It looked like they would be able to quickly awaken Moxi's spiritual phoenix. The girl asked him if he was going to pick all those beautiful medicinal herbs. The boy explained that although they looked so beautiful that it was a pity to pick them, they were all worth more than her life. Suddenly they were attacked by 2 more snakes. Yang Tian told her to hold on to it, for not far from here was the ice snake cave. These 2 snakes are too big, but they are nothing compared to the snake in the cave behind. Usually strong ice snakes live singly, but the one in the cave is definitely the ruler of all snakes, since he was able to gather such a huge number. He directed 2 attacks at the snakes with his 2 fingers. These attacks pierced the heads of the snakes. They're finally getting out of here, but there were still too many of them, and they were starting to catch up to them. The boy explained that the Ice Snake Lord carries a clutch of ice snakes in the cave. They protect him. so they won't go far in pursuit. They've landed. The girl was immediately worried when she saw him grabbing his body. Concerned, she asked Ne Tian what had happened. Mosi tried to hold him back somehow, and he replied that there was poison in his body. If today was the most ordinary day and he didn't have this poison in his body, those two foul worms wouldn't make him retreat. The disgusting thing was that he did retreat because of some poison. The girl offered him a rest. Ne Tian replied that he was fine. Besides, he had already thought of a way to defeat those ice snakes. The girl didn't understand how he could sleep in such a situation at all. There was a satisfied grimace on his face. Suddenly he said to be quiet, for he felt someone coming this way. Mosi asked where they were going. Ne Tian replied that they were somewhere not far away. 4 beastmen, 2 people with 8 meridians, and 2 people with 9 meridians. He explained that zookeepers are people who specialize in hunting spirit animals. They are extremely cruel and bloodthirsty. In addition, they ignore the rules and kill without thinking. In other words, they are just a herd of ruthless people. But regardless of his words, he offered to try and ask them for help, so they would wait for them here. The man told his older brother that there were 2 people up ahead, and they appeared to be children. Big brother did confirm that they were 2 little buggers. And there's a little beauty. I guess they're very lucky today. The older brother decided to take her first, and after he'd had his fun, it would be their turn. He began to stretch his filthy hands toward the little beauty. This guy's definitely looking to get himself killed. His knee was punctured, but for some reason the man thought something had bitten him. The protagonist scented the ice snake spirit core in his mouth. This ice snake spirit core contains all the fierce physical power of an ice snake. When ingested directly, it could kill a man in the blink of an eye. The man started wriggling and screaming from the cold. His body was covered in ice. Ne Tian stated that if someone thought of doing an inappropriate action, this was what would happen to them. When they saw what had become of their older brother, they began to explain that they did not know what a powerful man they were talking to. They didn't want to offend the young Mr. and Miss from powerful families, so they asked the respected, talented people to have mercy on them. Mosi noticed that the guy didn't look good. We have to help him quickly because the poison is getting stronger. These obedient servants are willing to be the young master's dogs. Even if the young master orders them to climb a mountain of swords and throw themselves into a sea of flames, they will not object. He noticed that there was a person here who knew about medicinal herbs. He should make them targets for the ice snakes first, but it seems like there's no need to do so much trouble. If he quickly got rid of the poison weakening him, one guy would be enough to kill all the ice snakes in the gorge. Ne Tian ordered him to give everything he had. The man laid out some ingredients. Luckily, there was some purified horse chestnut root that would help him with the poison in his body. These herbs are enough to spare their miserable lives. The protagonist told them to run before he changed his mind. He took and swallowed the medicine. The girl knew that the effect of herbs was very powerful. Isn't he afraid that his organs will rupture and he will die? Now, thanks to this medicine, he began to get rid of the poison in his body. And after a while, he finally finished. He told the girl that the poison in his body was gone. She was glad that the poison was gone. The boy replied that it was even easier than he had thought. Mosi asked if he was fine now. Did that mean he could now get the poison out of her body? Ne Tian replied that he could do that. But he suggested that he should first see how those worms were doing. And then there was a growl. The girl didn't know what had happened, but the guy realized that something had happened to the spirit beast. They needed to hurry. They ran to the spot where the growl was heard. He was surprised by what he had just seen when he arrived on the scene. There were 2 beasts, namely a second-order spiritual beast red flame tiger, as well as a slain ice serpent. The ice snake is dead, even almost all the ice dust has been trampled by the red flame tiger. Now how should he awaken Moshi's spirit? The girl called the guy's attention to the fact that there was another snake left there, and it was the Lord of the Ice Snakes. Thanks to the Ice Snake Lord, there is time to come up with a plan. The girl asked what the guy was going to do. Ne Tian told her to stay here and not go anywhere. He will bring her some medicinal herbs. That idiot is definitely sick of living. She told me to go back faster. The boy began to turn the flaming tiger's attention to himself. How could he take offense to an ice snake carrying a clutch like this? Let Uncle Ne Tian play with him. The red flame tiger noticed the guy because of his screams. If that red flame tiger is going to eat the guy in the ice snake core, he won't succeed. He's going to die here today. A red flaming tiger attacked the guy. The protagonist could easily dodge this blow, but the red flaming tiger didn't think to give him any time to chill. Thanks to the fact that he has heavenly strength, Ne Tian could stay alive. Otherwise, his arms would not be able to withstand this attack. The red flame tiger once again turned its attention to the ice snake, after which it threw itself at it. But the ice snake was also not as simple as one might think. It wrapped its tail around the tiger. Who would have thought that the Lord of the Ice Snakes decided to fight to the death with the red flame tiger for the sake of protecting his offspring? The red flame tiger didn't think of giving up either and started biting the snake's tail. This was exactly the moment he had been waiting for. He pounced on the two fighting beasts, after which Ne Tian wounded the red flame tiger, after which he jumped away from the battle between the two beasts. Im watched their last moments. Lena took also lay either in her own blood or in the blood of the enemy. The girl inquired if the guy was okay. He replied that they were fine, after which the ice serpent closed its eyes. First, he got the ice kite core, after which he wanted to get his hands on the flaming red tiger core. Ne Tian told the beast to leave in peace, for it would help with the care of the offspring. Mo Shi decided to give him the spirit core of the red flame tiger. After all, it would help him improve quite well. He didn't think she would give him the spiritual core so easily. The protagonist speculated that there might be another snake lord in this cave, as there is a very strong icy breath coming out of it. The girl told him to try to get back as soon as possible. Ne Tian felt that this aura was even stronger than the ice beast lords. He saw an ice snake egg that might contain an ice snake emperor. The icy aura was too strong. How lucky he was to get such an abnormally strong egg. The ice snake lord usually has a clutch of several dozens or hundreds of eggs at a time, but this time there's only one. Apparently, that's why it's so abnormally strong. He will eagerly await the hatching of this baby, although he himself doesn't know how strong his abnormal ice snake power will be. Then suddenly he heard the voice of a girl calling him. He hid the egg. The guy felt 3 strong alien auras. The battle between the second order red flame tiger and the ice snake lord raised a terrible uproar. Both of them had great abilities, but they died. It was too entertaining. There were 3 men there. One of them asked to give the core of the red flame tiger and the ice snake lord, and they would spare her. Mo Shi didn't know what they weren't going to do. Those men in black are Yuan Lin's warriors. They are not people she can handle. She is no match for them. This little beauty is about to find out just how awesome a fat big brother can be. He promises she'll love it. The other man told the third brother that he had 10 minutes. They will take the cores and leave immediately. The third brother is the best of his kind, but he has a serious flaw, namely vulgarity and preoccupations. If he had thought more about self-improvement, he could have become a second Yuanling warrior. The third brother thanked the first brother and the second brother. His mouth was drooling as he thought about what might happen. Mo Shi bumped against Ne Tian's chest. She looked at Ne Tian with tears in her eyes. "Where the fuck did this asshole come from, and how dare that fat man do that to his girlfriend?" The man told this smarmy face to quickly get off their backs and let him have a good time with this cutie. After that, maybe he'd spare this guy. Yuan still dares to show off his meridian strength. The protagonist replied that the man was going to spare him, but he wasn't going to do that with his piglet life. If that boy's gonna kill him, he's not gonna make it. He hasn't even lost his baby teeth yet. If he wants to make life difficult for himself, let him attack. The man is in a good mood today, so that will give him 3 seconds to disappear from his sight. It was a last chance to save his life. But the protagonist showed him the middle finger and replied that all he needed was 1 punch to blow his pig's head off. This dirty boy has had enough of life, daring to talk to a Yuanling warrior like that. He used the Yuanling incarnation technique, the steel porcupine. In fact, the protagonist didn't expect that he would actually turn out to be a demon pig. I mean, he talked about it, he didn't even think about it. He used the fury of a porcupine. The girl started to panic because they can't beat him. They have to run away. But the guy calmed her down and replied that he alone would be enough. There is only 1 Yuanlin warrior here, so there is no need to be afraid. He told the girl to hide somewhere and use the 9th strongest war god technique, namely the war god fist, after which he struck a blow directly at the third brother's face. The girl watched their fight in amazement. Another brother came to the third brother's aid. Since this kid killed the third brother, he'll tear him into 10,000 little pieces. Ne Tian sensed the soldierly spirit of the warriors in Yuanling. He told the girl to try to leave for a safer place, because right now, he wouldn't be able to protect her. Does he really think he has time to socialize with his girlfriend when he's being attacked by the enemy? He dodged that punch with ease. This strike was so powerful that it even cut down a few trees. But there was an explanation as to why he was talking to the girl during the battle and not worrying about his enemy. All because of the fact that his opponent is just ordinary trash. Ne Tian punched him in the stomach with his fist. The man was thrown back against a tree, but then he felt another presence. Here came the first brother telling the second brother not to be so impulsive. because this boy is definitely unusual. The protagonist noticed that the tree had come to life, and realized that these Yuanlin fighters were 3 after all. The truth is that with the 2 Yuanling wars, he would be able to handle it, but it would be difficult. But through this, he would be able to gain combat experience, and the second star would soon awaken. The 10th meridian began to react with him. That's the power of the stars. Thanks to the first brother's technique, a huge green hand appeared. The protagonist destroyed this technique with his God of War fist. The first brother ordered the second brother to take over the girl, and he will take over the guy. Ne Tian felt that his control over star power was now on a completely different level. The first brother had a perforated arm that was bleeding. The second brother, however, heard the first brother's cries, whereupon he began to worry about him. The protagonist shouted for Mo Xi to take this chance right now and extend her hand. The girl followed his advice. It was the attack that threw the attacker backwards. She was surprised that she was able to strike with her palm. Afterwards, she realized that it was quite effective against someone who was twice as strong as you. The second brother was lying in a pile of stones and asked the first brother to help. But the first brother looked at his own hand. He wanted to ditch the other brother and run away. After all, it's every man for himself today. But the protagonist wouldn't let him. Ne Tian reminded that it was already quite late to think about escaping. The first brother was lying on the ground and asked him not to kill him. He asked what the protagonist wanted. The guy asked if he was willing to give up money, a spiritual core, and an elixir for his life. Only the truth is, he could get it himself if he killed the man. The man replied that he could not kill him and he wanted to say who he was. But suddenly he began to hold his throat and remembered that he could not say who he was. For if he said it, he would die an even more painful death. Ne Tian wondered what kind of person he was since he had committed suicide. The guy turned to the girl who was looking at the other brother. He said to kill this enemy. Only the strongest people survive in this world. If she wants to become strong and continue to live in this world, she must learn cruelty. But the girl won't be able to kill him. The guy only replied with irritation that he would do it all himself. Still, she decided to do it herself, for she should not be underestimated. He certainly didn't expect the girl to be able to pull herself together and do what he told her to do. She immediately ran into his arms, and the man praised her. He also said that she was very strong. The girl in turn called him a disgusting person because he made her do something like that. But the guy tried to reassure her that there was a first time for everything. It's just a matter of getting used to it. And then she realized that there was something wrong with that sentence. Her face reddened, and she immediately moved away from him. The girl called him a pervert again and asked if he wanted to take advantage of her situation. Ne Tian immediately started to deny what she was saying. He didn't mean it and asked her not to talk nonsense. The boy began to examine the corpse of the warrior he had killed. He had a bat tattooed on his wrist. He recognized that bloody bat tattoo. The carnage that was the bat immediately flashed through his memories, and now he realized it was really her. The wounded man sat together with a white-haired child he named Tian Er. The man asked to remember that their enemies had a tattoo of a bloody bat on their wrist. In front of them stood several people who were dressed in red clothes. Their faces gave away their sinister intentions. The boy must avenge their Yang family at all costs. After recognizing this tattoo, the guy started to become overwhelmed with anger. No matter how strong the people with blood bat tattoos were, Ne Tian would definitely kill them. Mo Xi asked the guy if they could be the ones to kill Uncle Yang 3 years ago. She took the girl's hand and replied that they should leave this place as soon as possible, for he had gotten a very strange premonition. He fears that these strange people must have gotten close to the family palace by now. Yang Family Palace. There was a small group of people with torches standing there shouting to give them Ne Tian. The head of the Ba family, who was in the 9th Yuanlin spiritual realm, Ba Wuli, was present there. And also Ba Wuren, who was in the 7th Yuanlin spiritual realm. The old man asked the head of Ba if his attempt at forced marriage had failed, and now he had come here to kidnap the bride. But what kidnapping could be talked about if Ne Tian destroyed the meridians of his own son, Ba Ziyan? He advised them to hurry up and hand over to Ba Ne Tian's family, otherwise he would definitely flatten the Yang family's palace. Yang Wen didn't know when it was that the protagonist had managed to destroy the Ba family head's native son's meridians. He replied to the Ba family head that one could endlessly throw around lies, but there was no way one could say anything. He himself had said that the Yang family head had destroyed the meridians of the Ba family's spoiled young master. Then why hadn't he heard about it yet? This despicable Yang family should immediately hand over Ne Tian to them. The man no longer thought of patience and wanted to attack. Dad should stop being so courteous to that decrepit old dog. But Yang Wen didn't think to put up with this man's insolence either. This young man, at a rather young age, is already at the 4th Yuanli spiritual realm, which is quite good. However, coming face to face with an experienced warrior like this old man, it is not enough. The head of the Ba family will not allow his son to be injured. He will fight this old man himself. Another man who knew Mr. Yang and head Ba appeared. The man said that they had not seen each other for a long time. It was Mr. Mo, who is Moshi's father. He was looking for his daughter and passed by the Yang family palace. Seeing that there was a very lively situation going on, he decided to pay a visit. Mr. Mo hopes that he hasn't disturbed them. Yang Wen replied that the Lord knows how to joke. The Lord of the city himself came to pay them a visit. Today, his daughter went missing. According to some rumors from the market people, he found out that she was with the young master of the Yang family. That's why Mr. Mo decided to visit the Yang family. He would like to ask the Yang family to give him Yang Tian. Mo Tai lives up to his name, as he protects the city of Yangcheng and makes it peaceful and tranquil. That is why he deserves to be the lord of the city. It is rumored that he is the only person in the entire city who has crossed the spiritual boundary of the heaven realm. In addition, due to his cultivation, martial arts skills, and splendid character, he is very highly revered by the respected people of the entire city. The people of this city know that Mo Tai only has one daughter. She is his jewel, so she is fervently loved by him. Judging from his attitude towards her, he loves her more than his life. The lord in the cities asked Mr. Yang if he was still unwilling to give him Yang Tian. If Yang Tian really did capture Mo Shi, there was no way Mo Tai would spare the Yang family. Yang Wen explained that at the moment, the young lord was not in the palace. If the city lord didn't believe his words, he could enter the palace and see for himself. This little rabbit had apparently really taken his darling daughter and ran away with her. Mo Tai started to break things down and asked if the Yang family was willing to take full responsibility for Yang Tian's actions. They asked the city lord to give them some time. If Yang Tian is not detected within that time, then the Yang family will cease to exist and do so in the cruelest way possible. The Ba family with their position and strength can't deal with Yang Tian, then the city lord is able to deal with him. And if there is no head of the family, then the Yang family will be left unprotected. Yang Wen gave orders to the entire family. They must find the young master as soon as possible. He didn't care where they would look. Even if they dig 3 feet into the ground, it wouldn't matter. They absolutely must find the young master. Yang Satong knew that this situation was the perfect opportunity for Yang Tian to die the most painful death. And through his death, Uncle would once again have the opportunity to regain full control of the Yang family. But then a loud voice was heard saying that there was no need to go to such extremes. Everyone immediately paid attention to where the voice was coming from. The young master of the family had finally returned. Yang Wen was glad that this little rascal was already here. After all, he had caught up and didn't keep them waiting for long. Even more so, Mo Shi was beside him. Mo Tai was very happy that his daughter had finally returned. The girl asked what the father was doing here. He started surrounding her with questions about why she was coming back so late. She made her daddy worried to death. Could it be that someone was bullying her? One word from her, and he would immediately gut her abuser. He also asked if his sweet daughter was hungry. Daddy will arrange a late-night snack especially for her. The girl asked him to stop, because people were watching. Now the main character understood why it was so difficult for her to kill a man. Because she grew up with such a gentle, loving, and overprotective father. Finally, this Yang Tian showed up. The protagonist noticed that the place was too lively, and he saw that the Ba family was here. Did they really come here to bow at the feet of the Yang family all night long to pay their respects? Right now, the situation is so heated, and he still has the courage to make jokes. The old man hoped that the rascal would have the sense to apologize to them. They decided to do without any more talk. Today, the Ba family wants to bring justice back to their entire family. Someone here was talking a lot, and it was Bazil Yang. Could it be that after the protagonist made his big brother a worthless scum with destroyed meridians, he decided to come here himself to have the same thing done to him? So this scum had indeed destroyed young master's meridians. He had just now openly admitted it himself. If Yang Tian wasn't a scum recently, then how could he be able to destroy young master's meridians so easily? But right now, the main point was that he dared to destroy the Ba family's young master's meridians, and because of his act, he must die the most painful death. Even if this idiot really did destroy the Ba family's young master's meridians himself, there was no need to say it so directly and blatantly in front of the Ba family's representatives. He doesn't seem to have any self-preservation instinct at all. Yang Tian has been an expert for 3 years now, but even so, he still possesses the strength of the 9 meridians when Ba Ziliang has already become a Yuanlin fighter of the 4th spiritual realm. Does he still continue to think that he is the first genius of Yangcheng City? How much the protagonist fears the Yuanlin fighter of the 4th spiritual realm. Even if he had the strength of the 9 meridians, this man would still not be a worthy opponent for him. Ba Ziliang claimed that he only dares to be so bold because he has Yang Wen behind him, but he doesn't need anyone's support behind his back to deal with a scum like him. The protagonist showed 3 fingers and said that if Ba Ziliang could knock him down in 3 punches, he would no longer be called Yang Tian. How ridiculous is it that a warrior with 9 spiritual meridians challenged a warrior who is in the 4th Yuanlin spiritual realm? So he's also hoping to challenge him with at least 3 moves. With such loud words, he seems to have lost his mind. Only a madman would be able to say such a thing. Yang Setong wouldn't even have to personally clean up Yang Tian. He doesn't need to get his hands dirty when other people are willing to do all the dirty work for him. Let him not retract his words then. There was no way Ba Ziliang was forcing him to say something so crazy. If the protagonist loses today, he will be called a dog. The most flea-ridden dog of the Ba family. Mosi grabbed his hand and asked if he was crazy. But the guy explained that no matter who he faces, as long as he doesn't feel fear, he always has a chance of winning. The girl asked her dad to stop Yang Tian. He shouldn't fight with Ba Ziliang. It was as if the recent events of him showing his superiority over his opponents had flown out of her head. Mo Tai explained that no matter how it is, a fair fight should happen between them. If both sides want a duel, then even he, who is the lord of the city, has no right to interfere or stop them in any way. The head of the Ba family shouted for Ziliang not to dare to spare this asshole. His son should remember that his one punch could kill the protagonist. But father shouldn't be so worried. He has waited for this moment for a very long time, so he doesn't have the right to even the slightest mistake. Ziliang used a palm of fierce fire. As it turned out, the girl had mentioned that the main character was able to help her awaken the Yuanling spirit. This is truly amazing. He was even able to kill a red fire tiger, a king of uncle snakes, and even 3 Yuanling martial arts masters. Ba Ziliang attacked Yang Tian. Mo Tai wants to see with his own eyes and see for himself if he really has the power to accomplish the above. The protagonist used the God of War technique, specifically the Fist of the Sun King. The others couldn't believe that Yang Tian was able to withstand Ba Ziliang's fiery palm. This was pure nonsense. How could a second young master lose to Yang Tian? There was a surge of power. They began to increase their distance from each other. The protagonist recognized that people who are in the 4th Yuanling spiritual realm do indeed possess extraordinary power. Even though Yang Tian had awakened the power of the 2nd star, it was still slightly inferior to this guy's strength. Ba Ziliang used the column of fire swords. The guy yelled that this scum couldn't beat him. Soldier Spirit is the strongest attacking class among the 3 spiritual types of Yuanlin warriors. The Soldier Spirit and the inherent techniques of this class are the most ornate among all Yuanlin soldiers, so they are also very energy-consuming. No wonder he was exhausted so quickly. Ba Ziliang used a huge column of fierce flames. Let that arrogant Yang Tian try out the full power of this flame. Just some warrior of the 4th Yuanlin spiritual realm wants to kill him. Yes, he is too confident. The protagonist used the ice technique of the Heavenly Sword. He used a combination of star power with the power of the God of War. Especially, he had never used the Ice Heavenly Sword technique even before his rebirth. Ba Ziliang shouted his own praise when Yang Tian's death was already so close. The protagonist relies on this old man. It's like a dome of flame. Yang Tian reported that Ba Ziliang's 2nd move had passed. It was the next move that would be the last, and after that, Ziliang would definitely kill them, that cocky guy. The protagonist wasn't going to take his blows so easily either. Others thought that Yang Tian was some kind of demon. The attack of an ordinary 9 meridians warrior wouldn't be able to possess such tremendous destructiveness. But not only did his attacks have tremendous destructiveness, he was even able to withstand Ba Ziliang's fire column. Yang Tian recognized that it was pretty good when Ba Ziliang's fire columns had already reached the fire stage. But after all, he is still very young, so his understanding of the technique itself is too insignificant. Meanwhile, the old men behind him were standing behind him. wondering if there was someone so strong in the Yang family. Yang Setong had definitely not expected this. Yang Tian's level of spiritual development and sword-wielding is just terrifyingly magnificent. Perhaps one day he could reach the peak of power. Ba Ziliang shouted that this kid was forcing him to go to extreme measures. He noticed that his opponents used the technique of absorbing their own blood. Blood is the equivalent of an expert's vital spiritual power. Ba Ziliang was insane to take such a desperate step. If Ba Ziliang needs to defeat him, he will not hesitate. A life for a life. The main character only laughed with his life-for-life expression. Ba Ziliang is not even worthy of it. Motai noticed that Yang Tian wanted to harness the energy of the sky and earth around him. The guy used a spiritual death seal. It's just absolutely impossible. How could he even be able to do such a thing? Such a powerful technique left the head of the Ba family confused. This seal began to block Ba Ziliang's fire colony. Right now his strength was very weak, so he had to tap into the energy of the sky and earth. If not for that, he simply wouldn't have been able to resort to using the spiritual death seal. The power he had just tapped into was comparable to the power of the peak moment. Albeit for a short time, Motai felt it. So what Yang Tian used was nothing but the seal of the legendary god of war. Namely, it was one of his varieties of death seals. In his past life, the god of war, relying on the mighty power of his 3 death seals, was able to kill countless of his natural enemies. Motai didn't know what Yang Tian had to endure. He wondered what events must have happened in these 3 years to allow this guy to reach a realm that was inaccessible to ordinary people. The head of the Ba family cried out that he had destroyed the meridians of his eldest son Ba Ziyang and made him a scum, and afterward injured his second son Ba Ziliang as well. For such acts towards his family members, the head of the Ba family vows to take revenge on him. Yang Tian doesn't deny the fact that he made Ba Ziyang a scum with destroyed meridians, but he provoked the protagonist to do so from the beginning. As for Ba Ziyang, they saw for themselves that it was a fair duel between them, and it was natural for her that someone would die and someone would stay alive. Yang Wen asked Mr. Ba if these factors didn't sound like the real truth, or if he wanted to ignore the truth for the sake of places. The protagonist turned to the city lord and said that the 2 big families of Yangcheng City were about to start mass bloodshed. It should be in his best interest to stop them. This town really doesn't need such serious issues. If they have any unresolved topics, they should discuss them during the discussion without manhandling. The head of the Ba family assumed that the city lord was trying to protect the Yang family with this approach. Is Lord Bei questioning the aspirations of the lord of the city? Motai is the lord of the city, and it is his responsibility to maintain stability throughout the city walls. The 2 of them are about to start a bloodbath, and should he, the lord of the city, really stand by. But that's not what the old man meant at all. What made Ba Ziyang scum was his impulsiveness. A pouch appeared in his hand. The protagonist handed it over to compensate for the damage that had been done to Ba Ziyan. There are 10 gold coins in here. It wasn't much money, but he hoped that it would at least be enough for something. Before this, Yang Tian is just messing around. The head of the Ba family began to boil with anger. There's more to consider about who's bullying whom. He asked head Ba about when Ba Ziyang had injured him badly, causing Yang Tian to almost fall into a coma. Why exactly at that moment the head didn't tell him that his son was bullying the guy. And when the Ba family came to the Yang family palace to enforce the forced marriage, why didn't he tell his men that they were bullying them? The Ba family bullied the Yang family for 3 years. They just wanted to appropriate all the property. The head of the Ba family looked dumbfounded at the guy and didn't even know what to say to that, because it was all true. If he has nothing to say to that, then the protagonist was justified in doing what he thought was right. Besides, he has an important conversation to have with the lord of Motai City. Therefore, the guy doesn't have time to have unnecessary conversations with the Ba family. Ba Ziliang shouted that he had 15 days to prepare for their next battle. There will be a martial arts competition in Yangcheng City soon, so he wants to fight him there again. They will fight until their last breath. He noticed that the moon was almost full now, so it was a good time. Moshi noticed that Ba Ziliang kept insisting on his point. She asked if the guy was confident that he could handle him next time as well. The 9 spheres of the Divine Phoenix is quite a powerful spell in Yuanling. At this point, one must wait for the full moon and apply yin power to suppress all her pain in Ji Yang. Failure to do so would come back to haunt her. Even if this kid breaks through to a more perfect realm than the protagonist in 15 days, he still wouldn't be a worthy opponent to him. but even the girl didn't believe that he would be able to achieve such a result. Suddenly, the protagonist noticed the aftermath of the battle, and he wondered what happened to the Yang family's plaque that hung on the door. This plaque was almost completely destroyed. Yang Tian guessed that it was the head of the city, Mo Tai, who had done this. Yang Wen noticed that this rascal had just chased the beast away, and was already about to attach himself to the ferocious tiger. The girl explained that everyone had long ago started accusing her father of being overprotective of her, but this time she couldn't blame him for it. Tomorrow she would get someone here to install a new plaque for his family. She also asked if he could help her activate the Yuanlin. He glared at her face, specifically at how her emotions were changing too quickly that it was even frightening. Yang Tian told the great elder to return without him, and he would take Mo Si away. Yang Wen wanted to oppose. After all, the young master's current condition was bad. But the fellow replied that there was no need to worry. If anything were to happen, the lord of the city will protect him. He is completely safe. The girl confirmed that the grand elder need not worry so much. Her father would protect his young master if anything happened, and he would return safely. The family's courtroom. This bloody Yang Tian had pretended to be an outlier from the beginning, and for a very long time, and in fact turned out to be so powerful. Baziliang asked his father not to be angry. He also said that he had already asked for help from the Bloodbat sect. The man asked if the head of the sect would help them personally. The guy replied that he would definitely help personally. It could be considered that they had the support of all the masters of this sect. He had made a deal with the sect leader the moment he helped the BA family gain full control of Yangcheng City, and at the opportune moment, he would join their sect. What his father didn't expect was that he actually wanted to join the Bloodbat sect. As it turned out, after Yang Tian humiliated him, he realized that he could no longer live his life in this city. The boy has made a decision that for the sake of his family, he will take responsibility and will not be afraid of dangerous consequences for him. The son must do everything for his family. His father approves of this decision. The main character didn't die 3 years ago, and now the Bloodbat sect is going to get rid of him. The boy must realize that it is he and his actions that will bring the Yang family to the grave. So he shouldn't even think about blocking the Ba family's path. The garden behind the house of Mo's palace. Yang Tian started the Yin awakening. A girl came over and asked what he was doing. The guy replied that they didn't need extra eyes and ears. No one should bother them. Mo Shi asked what she should do. The guy didn't reply that she should take off her clothes, as ambiguous as that sounded. This time, she quickly agreed. But she agreed so quickly, simply because of the fact that she didn't immediately understand the meaning of his words. The girl called him a pervert again. The guy explained that the 9 divine and phoenix spirits were too strong, so he should use the power of Yin to help her awaken Yuanling. In order to fully absorb the spiritual power, she would have to undress. But she's more than sure that won't work. So there must definitely be some other way. He pulled a medicine out of a pouch and said they had to fix her problem before it was too late. She thought it was just another trick of his. The protagonist replied that she could undress inside this ice lotus. The ice lotus became much larger. Its beauty mesmerized the girl's eyes. Yan Tian said that he took it to avoid embarrassing her. Besides, this ice lotus would help her in her recovery. Mo Si turned to him and told him to turn away and not even think about peeking at her. The guy reminded her that they were almost out of time, so she needed to hurry up. Only her naked silhouette was visible in the lotus. The guy said that once the ice lotus disappeared, the spiritual power would run through her meridians, and her spiritual power would return back. There is that, and concentrate and evenly distribute the power, so that the power would gradually move to the center of the Dantian. Mo Shi replied that she was in pain. Yang Tian told her to be patient and try to calm down. After all, she wouldn't die. It was noticeable that this technique was also exhausting him. She must endure all this pain for the sake of awakening the spirit of Yuanling. Only then can she become stronger. The girl's body was surrounded by flames, and she herself was screaming that the guy was a jerk. She also asked that he pray for her to successfully awaken her Yuanling spirit. If things didn't go smoothly, she would get rid of Yang Tian. And then the phoenix appeared. He was surrounded by flames. Mo Tai also noticed that a divine phoenix of the 9 heavens had appeared. He couldn't believe that it was really a divine phoenix. It was quite a mesmerizing sight. Even though he was standing far away, he could feel the power and beauty of the event. The main character was also glad that he had finally awakened. The petals of the ice lotus began to separate. The naked figure of a girl appeared. Ice lotus petals covered some parts of her body, but you could tell from the guy's face and his condition that it wasn't enough. His nose was even bleeding from the sight. And so the next morning came. The girl woke up in her room and saw a guy who seemed to have slept all night with her on the edge of the bed. She noticed she was wearing completely different clothes and immediately thought about who might have changed them. Mo Xi immediately started waking up Ne Tian and asked if it was just yesterday that he was the one who changed her. He started running away from her and shouted that she had passed out last night, so he had no other choice. But that didn't stop the girl, and she ran after him. The guy was asking for help because Mo Xi was going to kill him. Mo Xi's father, namely Mo Tai, appeared. The man said that the girl shouldn't be so rude. He explained that the maids of their palace had changed her yesterday, and the guy had only brought her. In addition, the girl should thank the guy for helping her awaken the Yuanling spirit. Ne Tian thanked Lord Mo for covering for him. The Lord began to suspect that perhaps it was fate that brought these children together, and the protagonist turned to the elder to ask for his advice. This time, Lord Mo addressed the protagonist as Mr. Yang. He was happy to help in whatever he asked. The guy asked if Lord Mo had seen anyone with a bloodbat sect tattoo on their wrist. The Lord learned about the bloodbat sect. The man immediately asked what the young lord knew about it. Of course, he knows this organization very well. After all, it was the one that attacked his family in the Yuanshan Mountains 3 years ago. Those people had bloody bat marks on their wrist. And yesterday, this sect made another appearance in these very same mountains. The martial arts tournaments are coming up, and the appearance is no coincidence. The Lord immediately guessed that he was planning to take revenge on the Bloodbat sect, but the guy doesn't even realize what it is capable of. Even the Lan Yun Empire couldn't become a worthy opponent for them. He shouldn't be so impulsive, or else he will just lose his life. The boy explained that his parents are dead, and after their death right now, he really appreciates Lord Mo's kindness. But he himself knows very well what he needs to do. Besides, these people are too weak to stand against the strength of his 10 meridians and star power. The guy turned to the girl and said that her Yuanlin spirit had awakened for the first time in a long time. So it needed time to adapt to her body. She should refrain from training for a while. Mo Xi was pleased at the thought of the protagonist caring for her. He still had unfinished business, so he decided to leave. Meanwhile, Lord Mo wondered what the intentions of the Bloodbat sect might be since they had decided to come to Yangcheng City. If the Bloodbat sect found that their vanguard's report would be delayed, they would definitely go to the Yunshan Mountains. But he might not have even noticed that he was already being followed. Or he might have just pretended not to notice, to catch the enemy off guard at the right moment. Yunshan Mountain. There were 3 roads. These are the only 3 roads to access Yangcheng City through the Yunshan Mountains. The protagonist decided to leave reflections of his spiritual power in this place beforehand. That way, he would be able to immediately know if they were appearing here or not, and prevent them from escaping. The man watching him thought he was going to awaken the Yuanling, and so he gives himself away by saying that the guy's powers exceeded his expectations. It's his recognition of the protagonist's abilities that makes him even more terrifying. Looks like he'll have to get rid of the pesky tail before his Yuanling awakens. The man started to claim and that something terrible must happen today in this unsightly forest. He is sure that after today's event, the old geezer Yang Wen will no longer doubt him as the head. From the beginning, the guy had thought that Yang Satong wanted to wait until the martial arts tournament to settle the score with him there. But now that he had come to him, there was no need for that. Ne Tian would deal with him right away. Uncle threw himself at him to attack him. But suddenly the protagonist stopped and shouted that the beast was close. Now Uncle didn't understand what was going on. The guy explained that the Shadow Celestial Wolf is a spiritual beast of the first order. Although it is not strong, but it is very fast. There were at least hundreds of Shadow Sky Wolves in this line. That many were enough to kill people. He must be sick of living if he's trying to provoke the wolves. But that is not what their uncle should be concerned about. The powder from the corpse is said to be very useful. And now, in the eyes of the Shadow Wolves, it is walking meat. The uncle realized that he had taken action from the beginning. Ne Tian dared to dare him, so he shouldn't expect any more mercy from him. But the guy only thought that now he would finally be able to find a peaceful place to awaken the Yuanling. This is truly the land of yin and yang chaos. A place that the ice snake chose to leave its future offspring here. But still, it is the only place that is suitable for the awakening of Yuanling. Only first, we need to get rid of anything that can interfere with Ne Tian. He began to meditate. 3 years ago, the 9th meridian was awakened, so this body has great stamina. With its help, it would be able to awaken the Yuanlin more easily. But unfortunately, Such a long break had caused the 9 meridians in the Yuanlin to collapse. Now all he has to do is recreate them with star power. He hadn't expected that Yuanling's recovery could be so painful. The guy felt that this body was too weak. If he couldn't endure all this pain, his meridians would be finished. But actually, the unbearable pain was nothing. If Yuanlin has to suffer the most cruel torment to awaken, he must endure it. Without the Yuanlin's spirit, his life will be full of humiliation and abuse. Even Yang Satong, Baziang, and Bazilian would be able to kill Yang Tian in an instant, and he sure as hell doesn't want that kind of life. Uncle was already halfway to him. Even if the guy hid in the cave, he wouldn't be able to escape his own death. He had poisoned the shadow sky wolves on Uncle, but he was able to get rid of them. The star's power was so powerful that it restored his 9th meridian using the 4th core. Combined with the 10th meridian, it was interesting what might happen at the end. He also didn't understand what this Yuanlin spirit imprint was. There was a black chain wrapped up as if in a lump. He assumed it was a 9-pole beast from his past life. The Yuanlin seal, he also has a chain. But here the uncle had already come running to him, telling the guy to say goodbye to his life. The guy asked if the uncle was ready to deal with the consequences after killing him. Yang Satong replied that he was doing it for the good of the Yang family. He cannot put the fate of this family in the hands of some scum. But things were not good, because his body was not obeying. Perhaps it was because the Yuanlin spirit had only recently awakened, and his body was not ready for such a huge change. His uncle continued to heap threats on him, and the lad started looking for some medicine to take. He remembered that he had a couple of pills somewhere that could restore blood flow and the flow of spiritual energy along the meridians. Yang Satong stated that if the guy stayed alive, the old geezer Yang Wen would never let him control the Yang family. A coffin appeared in front of them, which was shrouded in chains. When the guy noticed and yelled out that it was a coffin, the uncle asked if he was out of his mind. The main character didn't understand what kind of joke this was. If someone's Yuanling would have a coffin, he felt sorry for that person. Uncle remembered that he'd had a strange classic in the lad's childhood days, and it turned out that those were his detours. But that's even a pretty good title, workarounds. He called his uncle a rogue who still thinks he's the best and looks down on others. Just looking at him disgusted him. The uncle was displeased with the way the kid addressed the older man. But the kid was busy pondering whether there was really no one who could understand the skill level of the original Chaos Coffin. Uncle knew that Yuanlin Yang Tian was never a beast spirit, a tree spirit, or a soldier spirit. It was just a coffin with the dead buried, not some kind of detours. Today, Yang Satong is going to open a portal to the future, so he won't do anything to Yang's family. The boy immediately turned around to hear his plan in detail. But something happened here that made me pay attention. Yang Tian didn't realize where he was or who he was. There were some unknown patterns. The protagonist realized that this coffin of chaos was dragging everything down. He began to feel that the star power was speeding up his body and it was working faster. Perhaps this original chaos coffin could improve his spiritual power. A technique called Star Soul appeared in front of him. As it turned out, it was a refinement practice that the protagonist had not noticed in the past. He learned that Star Souls also had meridians from the 1st to the 9th. Also, Star Souls could only be portrayed by Star Forces, and other forces could not do such a thing. These were written by Star Souls, and all had the same meridian. But in the original, it says you have to synchronize with the star power. He didn't know where to do it, because there was no suitable place in this void. And then he immediately remembered him for the coffin. He woke up in some space. What flashed through his mind was that he should first immerse himself in the coffin and then remember to write the Star Soul seal, after which to depict the Star Soul seal on the coffin. Everything must go perfectly, otherwise Yan Satoeg will humiliate the protagonist thanks to his power. The main character used the red flame Star Soul flame. Uncle didn't know what kind of monster Yang Tian had created. The flames were burning the uncle. Those flames almost burned his clothes. Uncle kept saying that this guy couldn't kill him, but he didn't even realize that he could be swapped for someone better. Star Souls of 1 meridian could resist a Yuanling of 9 meridians, and if they were of the 2nd meridian, it was scary to think what they would be capable of. Suddenly, a 2-meridian spirit beast appeared behind him, who was called the Fearsome Bear. It was a strong spirit beast of 2 meridians that mastered the 4 Wanling arts. Flesh and blood above 20,000 feet and 1 paw is enough to smash a huge boulder, but this spiritual beast made its own choices. The guy used the leap of a flying swan to increase the distance between him and the bear. This time the bear has chosen prey it can't handle. It's like a regular arm workout. 3 roads in the Liyun Mountains. The guy realized that this was actually where the wielders of spiritual powers were fighting. Then he wouldn't want to miss the opportunity and watch these superior people. The bear wanted to attack the head hero again, its devastating attack almost reaching him. But in the end, this beast has only brute strength, and he doesn't even know how to control it. Although Hausa's coffin is not a weapon as such, it makes his Yuanlin several times stronger. With the combined strength of the 4 stars, his physical strength is around 15,000 pounds. If right now Ne Tian was fighting the god of war, if he attacked him at full strength, he would definitely die. The bear was finished. As a reward for this, he received a spiritual core. Of course, the main character sensed someone else's presence and immediately told him to come out. The man immediately came out and called Ne Tian peerless, and the fact that he was able to be discovered only confirms these words. The main character turned around and said that he was pretty good too. At such a young age, he was able to reach the state of the 5 spiritual meridians. Ne Tian guessed that he possessed ghost eyesight. The ghost eyes said that the guy would not become the stranger's enemy. Suddenly, the protagonist approached, causing the stranger to hesitate. The stranger asked him what he was doing. The guy replied that those eyes were really beautiful. The stranger didn't understand what he was trying to say. But Ne Tian felt as if they were old friends and very similar to each other. The stranger had no idea what he was talking about. The man immediately realized that he was the one who had killed the trio from the Bloodbat sect. The protagonist was curious as to how he had found out. It was pretty simple. But you guys can feel the breath of a corpse. He thought that in a small place like Yangcheng City, there shouldn't be a person with the breath of a corpse on them. The main character only confirmed his words. The stranger wants to make a deal with him. Ne Tian decided to listen to him carefully. The brunette was asking for help to kill someone human. The protagonist hoped it wasn't him. Since he's from Yangcheng City, he must know this person. This is Baziliang from the Ba family. Ne Tian knew that Baziliang is also a member of the Bloodbat sect. They are in the same organization after all, so why would he want to kill this person? The brunette replied that it was personal. The protagonist knows that the stranger does not have enough strength to defeat him in a fight. That is why he avoids answering that question. So why then should he help? Even if he does help, what benefit will he get out of it? The guy inquired, and what he wanted in return for his help. The guy helps him kill someone, and he helps him find someone. The brunette inquired, so who was he looking for? This man's name is Tang Wu. With ghost eyes, this teenager looks just like his former teacher, whose name is Tan Wu Bai. Perhaps he is a descendant of Wu Bai. He also agreed to help the protagonist. Only God himself can help him find his teacher. After all, he is his last student. The brunette asked if he possessed the spiritual power of a Yuanling and had fought someone equally strong in the mountain pass. The boy replied that he had. He just reminds me that the Bloodbat sect is planning to help the Ba family control Yangcheng City. If this guy is from this particular city, he better leave as soon as possible. In the evening, after the meeting, they are going to destroy the palace of the city lord, and then the Yang family. The first thing they're going to do is go to Motai, which is where it's going to start. Ne Tian asked this guy not to forget about their agreement. A little while later, he was already changed into his organization's clothes and gave out information about Lord Motai. Bloodbat sect, the 36th lord. He told the 30th to let them into the mountains. They must find the trail of their 3 brothers. They might be able to find them right there. The 3 brothers were killed in these mountains, and the one who killed them didn't leave even the slightest clue. They have to get into the city without being seen. They may have sensed something wrong and increased security. Bloodbat sect, 35th Lord Liu Yishu. In that case, the people of the Ba family should have come out to meet them to avenge their family member. It was quite interesting as to why no one had shown up until now. Then they should just go to Yangcheng City and kill their cowardly leader. But don't underestimate the lord of the city. Baziliang once mentioned that there were 2 Yuanling martial arts masters in the city. One was the lord of Yancheng City, who is called Mo Tai, and the other was the elder of the Yang family. But one should not forget that the lord of this city possesses 5 spiritual meridians. Meanwhile, they were already being watched. This was the main character. He actually only met people with 8 meridians. Maybe he'll use this pawn critical moment to save someone's life. In half an hour, Motai's palace. Ne Tian arrived at their place. They hadn't seen each other for quite some time. But even so, his strength had increased just tremendously. Since he had come to his personal palace, it meant that Ne Tian had something to talk to him about. Could it be that something serious had happened? The guy replied that there was important business to attend to. Mo Si appeared and was happy to see the guy. It turned out that she had gone to the Yang family palace many times, but he wasn't there. Therefore, the girl wondered where he had gone. Had she sought him out because she missed him? The girl replied that she didn't miss him at all. Now she could safely control the 2 spiritual meridians and practice the Yuanling Divine Phoenix Seal. Right now, even a city lord who had undergone military training 3 times and possessed a powerful Yuanlin wouldn't be able to resist her. He flicked her forehead and asked if she was the one who said that after the guy helped restore her Yuanlin, she would forget about him. She wouldn't even have a thought of him and would practice in peace. The girl replied that it was painful and she didn't think of him at all. Or maybe she's practicing so hard, motivated to defeat the protagonist. The girl replied that it wasn't like that at all. Motai calmed down his daughter. The girl replied that she didn't mean to scandalize. It's obvious that he's just provoking her. Guy offered to move a little farther away from Mo Shi with the city lord. He wants to get rid of her, but he won't succeed. If the girl wants to stay, then let her stay. The lord of the city had already realized that the lord of the Yang family had come to him with an important matter. The girl objected about what kind of family lord he was in the first place. There was nothing yet to back up those words. He was just a big kid. The guy started to explain that it was related to the Bloodbat sect. This time, this sect showed up in person to help the BA family take over Yangcheng City. If this is true, then it's a very serious matter. In that case, the Mo family's palace will be the first to be destroyed. The best proof is the corpses of the 3 pawns of the Bloodbat sect. In the Li Yun Mountains, he left some of his spiritual power behind, which had also changed, even if they knew before that the Bloodbat sect had colluded with the Ba family. The current strength of Yangcheng City would not be able to match the sect's strength. The head of the Bloodbat sect, he is also the leader of the Ba family. He has a 5th order Yuanlin, Motai, who has her 3rd order Yuanlin, and Yang Wen, a 1st order Yuanlin. The city lord is the only one who possesses a 3rd order Yuanling in Yangcheng. Yang Wen would be much harder to fight with than the Bloodbat sect itself. After all, with Yangcheng's combat power, the gap in strength was obvious. The girl wondered if there were any ideas to solve this problem. Not counting the Ba family, there were only 20 people in the city who possessed Yuanling. If the guy was in the shoes of the lord of the city, he would be able to handle this problem with ease. And the best solution is to gather all the Yuanling wielders in the city and ambush the palace of the city lord. But the question was whether it would work. The guy thinks everything will go smoothly. He also has one proposal, but he doesn't know if the lord will accept. Motai told him to tell him about his ideas. He could strengthen the Yuanlin with the pills, so the city lord and a few other warriors could briefly master 4 or even 5 spiritual meridians. This is the Yuanlin Immortality pill, after all. Such a pill can be prepared by alchemists of at least the 2nd order. In that case, they should gain more abilities and become indestructible for a while. So where can they get these pills? They just need to deliver the danding to make the immortality pill, and then find enough healing herbs to make the pill 100% effective. There were many subordinates walking with herbs in their hands, and 2 more guards were watching them. The men asked what they wanted to do with such a huge amount of medicinal herbs. Apparently, he hadn't heard that the former scum wants to concoct an advanced Yuanling immortality pill. He really wants to create an immortality pill without even having alchemy skills. Those who wish to become alchemists must have a strong Yuanling spirit, extraordinary willpower, and an understanding of the pill-making technique itself. But the most important thing is to have Yuanling spiritual power. Furthermore, the 10th spiritual meridian corresponds to a 1st order alchemist. Even if the martial power is insignificant, a 1st order alchemist is more expensive than a warrior in Yangcheng. It seems that Lord Yang has gone crazy to think that he can concoct a pill of immortality. But what does this man care if he's not the one to disgrace the entire Yangcheng city? They brought him Jinyan herb, 17 servings. Jufen, 9 servings. Rosny flower, 11 servings. Splintered raven flesh, 11 servings. 13 portions of heavenly lotus, and 13 spiritual cores of fire attributes of the 1st order. Surprisingly, he gave the number and names of the herbs in the order in which they carried them. With so many medicinal herbs, 9 or 10 Yuanlin immortality pills could be made. Spiritual power will be enhanced to 9 spiritual meridians, but to obtain 4th order Yuanlin power, which possesses 40 meridians, you have to make 10 pills. But 2nd order Yuanlin is more than enough. The guy turned to Lord Mo and said that this danding in the house is at least a 3rd order alchemist treasure, and it is indeed of the highest quality. He didn't expect the main palace of a small town to have such a good danding. Since the danding and medicinal herbs that Lord Ne Tian had requested had been completely gathered, It was now up to him. But there's no need to worry, for he will do his best. These immortality pills are of great importance to the continued prosperity of Yangcheng City. He used the fire of the 9th meridian. Only an alchemist of the highest order would be able to use 9th meridian fire. When controlling the flames, he could also use Yuanlin to enhance the flow of fire. The girl asked her father all about what he was doing. Motai explained that controlling fire was the most basic requirement to become an alchemist. How long the mixture should be kept in the dunding, and the number of servings should be very precise. This process requires a great deal of spiritual power on the part of the would-be alchemist. Any mistake will cause the pill to explode, as will the danding vessel itself. The power of the 9 meridians was exhausted. Of course, the mass creation of immortality pills took more power than a single creation. The guy decided to try using the power of the 10th meridian star. What was most surprising was that after creating a few immortality pills, the star power became greater than before. If the guy knew about it, the danding could be used to raise Lord Mo's strength to a Yuanlin of the 5th order. The city lord was surprised that it was indeed a Yuanlin immortality pill. Tomorrow there will be a martial arts trial in the city, so he will return to the Yang family palace. After the martial arts competition is over, he will bring the Yuanling masters to the main palace of the city. The girl wondered if he was still going to participate in this trial. But he wanted to solve something for himself, so he was going to participate. This martial arts competition is just a great opportunity for him. After all, Tang Hao really wants Ba Ziliang dead, and he can only reluctantly take part in it. The head of the family returned to the Yang palace. The old men were happy to see the head of the family. They reminded him that there would be a martial arts trial in the city tomorrow, where head Yang would definitely be able to defeat Ba Ziliang. Yang Tian asked if everything had been fine during his absence. Yang Wen replied that it had been fairly quiet, and the Ba family hadn't bothered them. Apparently, they had cooled their ardor a bit. Of the new only thing is that he doesn't know what came to Yang Satong's head, but for some reason he returned to his domain. It seems that Uncle realized that he would not be the head of the Yang family in the future. But Yang Satong would never accept being defeated by some scum. Most likely, he had returned to his domain to prepare his nefarious plot. But is this how the head of the house should treat the older members of the Yang family? We need to find out who injured Yang Satong and the reason why it happened to him. The head of the household should worry about him. The head of the house is really heartless. The main character explained that Yang Satong is a wolf. These old men are stupid and naive, so they easily turn a blind eye to their uncle's antics. However, he will never reform. He was being generous enough to let him live, and if they doubted that he had been treated unfairly, let them ask themselves what good Yang Satong had done. It was clear to everyone that the head of the family had defeated his uncle. The spirit of this child is peerless. It is as if he is a double of Yuan Ling. 3 years ago, the Ba family conspired with the Bloodbat sect to kill his parents in the Liyun Mountains. Yang Wen didn't know that the Ba family had done such a thing, and after tomorrow's martial arts trial, the sect will help the Ba family seize control of Yangcheng City. The old man asked if the head of the family still intended to participate in tomorrow's trial. He handed over a bottle of pills and explained that they were not for competition. Uncle Yang Wen and the 2 elders should also take these Yuanlin immortality pills. Only with them would they be able to protect Yangcheng City from the Bloodbat sect. The immortality pill could briefly increase their spiritual power, but after the effects of the pill wear off, the body will experience weakness for a month. They will follow the head of the family and swear that they will do everything to protect Yangcheng City. After tomorrow's martial arts competition, they must go to Lord Mo's palace with Yang Tian to fight the people of the Bat sect. Yang Tian's bedroom. After the 10th meridian absorbed the danding aura and medicinal herbs, the power of the 6 stars awakened. Serious killing star souls, 7th spiritual realm Yuanlin. Both star souls are good at close combat. Thanks to them, he would most likely be able to become a successful opponent for an opponent with a 7th spirit realm Yuanlin. The old man thought Ba Ziliang was a worthy disciple of the Bloodbat sect, and decided to give Lord Ba's son some special items. They will allow the guy to win a landslide victory in a martial arts challenge. The man had heard that after that battle near the Yang family palace, Ba Ziliang had reached the 5th Yuanling spiritual realm. It had been 3 years since their last battle. Perhaps the battle between Yang Tian and Ba Ziliang would be different from the previous one. If Ba Ziliang won, it would mean that for the next 3 years, the Ba family would be considered the strongest in Yangcheng. And who made Lord Yang participate in this battle in the first place? He could have just sat out. The heads of all the families of Yangcheng City were sitting there. Isn't Yang Tian already the head of the Yang family? Still, I wonder what will happen during the trial. The heads of families are simply unable to tolerate young people. But unlike them, the old man is interested in observing outstanding young people. The old man asked Lord Mo who he thought would be the winner of this martial arts trial. But Mo Tai just gave this old man a glance that silenced him. Catching such a penetrating gaze from the city lord, he realized everything. Therefore, he decided to just watch the martial arts trial. It must be really very exciting this year. Mo Tai was confident that Yang Tian would win. After all, he was much stronger than he was 3 years ago. His strength has increased by several times. The Lord believes in him. The old man can't believe that some 9th meridian scum could defeat a Yuanlin of the 5th spiritual realm. It's ridiculous. The Lord of the city announced that the trials had begun. The first battle will be Yang Tian versus Ma Yang, and Ba Ziliang versus Yang Shan. This Ma Yan is 20 years old and possesses 8 meridians. The main character really didn't understand where he got such confidence from, since he had such an arrogant smirk. Did this Yang Tian really think that he could defeat the great Ma Yang? It had been 3 years since the last time Yang Tian stepped into the ring. The man didn't expect that he would ever fight in the martial arts arena again. These days, there were rumors going around the city that he had regained his strength, and now the man had seen it with his own eyes. Ma Yan used a fiery palm and attacked him, but from the confident look in the protagonist's eyes, the man realized his mistake. Yang Tian is stronger than him. So, the first fight was completed and Yang Tian emerged victorious. This was indeed a real Yuanling powerhouse. He was able to win so quickly, and didn't use any tricks. Meanwhile, on the other side of the arena, Yang Shan is 19 years old and possesses 7 meridians. The man asked if he regretted anything in his life. Ba Ziliang calmly dodged his punches. But the guy told him to shut up. He doesn't want to change his first or last name because he's loyal to his family. He has no regrets, but he gave the wrong answer to that question. The young lad should regret following the wrong master. Moreover, he should regret that his surname is Yang. Yang Shan didn't realize what he was about to do, but it was too late. And this is the fighter of the Yang family. He's too weak. Today in this arena, he wants all the people of the Yang family to die precisely at his hands. He told all the Yang family fighters to enter this arena. Ba Ziliang turned to Lord Yang and asked if he could afford to bathe in a bit of glory. That bastard's digging his own grave. This trial is really just fun. It's just fun, so no sacrifices are welcome. They're not necessary. The location of the trial. The finalists were Yang Tian, Ba Ziliang, Mo Shi, and Ma Gang. The lord of the city announced that the semi-finals would begin. Yang Tian and Mo Shi would fight in the first battle. The girl began to climb into the arena, but suddenly, she admitted defeat. This statement surprised those present. In fact, she is not afraid of losing to the protagonist. It's as if she ordered him to defeat Ba Ziliang and not let her down. But I shouldn't worry, because he's bound to die. Everyone was shocked that Ms. Mo actually refused to participate. But after all, they had waited so long for Miss Mo to fight at full strength. She just walked out. This was watched by Tang Hao, who hoped that Yang Tian would be able to do this. He won without a fight, but there was a reason for that. According to rumors, thanks to Yang Tian, Miss Mo has only recently awakened her Yuanling. It's quite weak, so she doesn't want to risk it. Besides, this is also some way of thanking her benefactor. It was Yang Tian and Ba Ziliang's turn to fight. The strength of the main character really came from his expectations. But he is no longer the first genius in Yangcheng City after all. That title from 3 years ago no longer belongs to him. Yang Tian wants to defeat Ba Ziliang, but it's just not possible. The young master of the Ba family must not understand very well. But after all, about 10 days ago, he seems to have knocked someone into someone with only 3 punches. Tonight, he's going to kill the protagonist. The man used a raging fire. But Yang Tian also had the desire to take his life today. Used the fist of the god of war. Being able to resist Ba Ziliang's flaming sword. The guy's physical strength definitely exceeds 20,000 pounds. But Yang Tian still hadn't activated his Yuanlin. After all, only the strength of a Yuanling was able to fight against a Yuanling. This was quite amazing. But the guy realized that without the strength of a star with the 10th meridian, it would be difficult for him to grasp Ba Ziliang's techniques. The protagonist's opponent didn't understand how this happened. His strength had surpassed Ba Ziliang in just a few days. It was astonishing that the very same scum had actually hit Ba Ziliang. Moreover, he couldn't even stop Yang Tian's punch. He is too weak, which makes one wonder if he really possesses the 5th Yuanlin spiritual realm. But the fight isn't over yet, so they should shut up now. This time, he engaged the aerial fire flame. A sword appeared in his hands, after which, he used the God of War's strike. Ne Tian wants to kill him, but it won't be that easy. This jerk actually came to the fight right in his armor. That's so brazen. Second-order protective armor can counteract most of the Yuanlin's attack power. Since he was wearing second-order armor, it wasn't surprising that the War God's strike didn't kill him. The protective armor was the first of the special gifts given to him by the Blood Bat sect's sect leader. Ne Tian must humbly accept his death. Even though it is shameless to wear armor on a trial, it doesn't break the rules in any way. Just because he's wearing it doesn't change the end result in any way. Baziliang will still die, but he will not lose. Victory at this trial must be his. The head of the Ba family shouted for his son to get up. Baziliang has a wonderful talent. It's just a pity that his heart is consumed by darkness. The protagonist has long since figured out what the Ba family is trying to accomplish. That's why he's going to stop them. A pill appeared in his hands and he asked the guy if he thought he was the smartest one here. He ate that pill. Ne Tian realized that it was a Yuanling immortality pill. However, the immortality pill in Baziliang's hands is another type of danding. The Yuanlin immortality pill was the second gift that the sect leader gave to Baziliang. In an instant, he had reached the power of the 7th Yuanlin spiritual realm. Swords appeared behind him. Today, he will show the protagonist the full power of the Yuanling immortality pill. Ne Tian guessed that he wanted to strengthen Yuanling's attack by burning his own blood. It was clear that either he or Ne Tian would die today. A beast appeared behind the protagonist. He didn't expect Baziliang to be so cruel to himself as to burn his own blood. It seems that even this is a case he should finally take seriously. It was amazing that he was able to awaken his spirit beast, but it was too arrogant to think that this poor beast would compare to his sword spirit. Baziliang used the fire flame again. That picture was quite mesmerizing. Mosi asked the boy to be careful. Blood is the life force of the fighter. If there is no blood, the fighter is on the threshold of death. That's why the protagonist wants to find out how much blood Baziliang has. Ne Tian threw a punch at him. This attack knocked the enemy back a couple of meters. The lord of the Ba family on how his son is being beaten like that. He couldn't hold back any longer, so he decided to get into their fight. He would flog this little puppy that was disturbing the Ba family. The head of the Ba family used the 9th Yuanlin. Right behind him followed City Lord Mo Tai and Elder Yang Wen, who were perplexed for the rudeness and boorishness from the Ba family, since he had the audacity to so openly violate the rules of the martial arts trial. Balaogu's son is already unscrupulous, and he's even more horrible than his own son. The fight was initially fair until Baziliang found himself wearing armor and carrying Yuanling immortality pills. The trial is over, and they're still thinking of killing the winner. That old man has lost his shame, but today, Balaogu lost his son. In just one moment, he just lost him. So they're done for the day. He's leaving. After this night, he will make them all bow their heads at his feet. He will take revenge on the Yang and Mo families for what they did to his 2 sons. A girl came up to him, congratulating him on his fair victory. Since the beautiful girl from the Mo family was watching him fight, he didn't even have the right to lose. His words confused her again, and she replied that he was talking nonsense again. The man reported to the sect head that Baziliang had died, and only Tang Hao had contributed to the event. In any case, changing the mission plan was punishable by death, but they can't afford that kind of punishment. How could the plan go wrong if it was thought up by the head of the Blood Bat sect himself, which is the old man? When Baziliang and Tang Hao went to the main target location, even the man thought that Tang Hao was a better fit than Baziliang. The head of the Blood Bat sect explained that Tang Hao was born with ghost eyes. He is indeed a rare genius, but he wants this guy to stay on their side. Baziliang is dead, which means they were next in line. It was originally supposed to be his disciple who would take over, but now that Baziliang is dead, he has no other young genius but Tang Hao, so he will let him lead the sect. The head of the Blood Bat sect explained that tonight's plan remains the same. Before going to the city palace, they must watch their every move. Black clouds overwhelm the city and rain is coming soon. People started coming to the main palace at night. The Blood Bat sect want to break through the doors of his palace first. They will definitely threaten him. Plus, they are backed by the Bia family. In this deadly time, Mo Tai hopes that they will all put aside the long-standing strife and provide protection for Yangcheng City. They will follow Lord Mo and fight the Blood Bat sect. Mo Tai told the protagonist that he could now tell his strategy of action. Going back to the city government, they only have 18 warriors who possess Yuanling. They can divide them into 2 groups of 9. The first group will be led by Lord Mo Tai. This group will guard the entrance to the inner courtyard, and the second group will be led by Yang Wen, who will guard all the corridors in the palace. Their goal is to hold the bat people at the gate without giving in to recklessness or fighting them. If the corridors fail, they should quickly retreat to the inner courtyard and join Lord Mo. The inner courtyard is the final position where they will fight the people of the Bloodbat sect. A girl came to their meeting and asked what group she was in. The city lord stroked her head and explained that the Bloodbat sect was incredibly cruel. She must hide in a hidden palace together with the Mo family's people. But she won't do that. Moshi also possesses Yuanling, and her rank is stronger than many people. Therefore, she must stay behind to help them. Yang Tian suggested leaving Moshi in his care. The protagonist would definitely be able to protect her in case of something. In that case, he agreed to do it. The old man asked the head of the Yang family if he wanted him to follow him. Although the elder wasn't sure if the Bloodbat sect was in Yangcheg City, the guy wouldn't be respected by the family. He explained that in his past life, he was the first god of war in the heavens and had fought countless battles both big and small. So this little war with a lowly sect is an opportunity for him to test his maximum and show what he can do. They were walking down the hallway. Yang Tian knew that Tang Hao was here, so he told him to come out. The girl began to tremble and didn't realize who he was talking to. A guy appeared behind him and said the protagonist didn't let him down. Even more so, it was a surprise to him that Miss Mo possessed the divine phoenix seal. The girl started to panic, not realizing who he was. Tang Hao introduced himself as Yang Tian's friend. The guy explained that he had accomplished what Tang Hao wanted. Therefore, it was time to fulfill his promise. Tang Hao assured him that he would keep his word. However, he has no right to see it. Yang Tian inquired if he wouldn't be able to meet with Tang Wu. Tang Hao assumed that Yang Tian still had business to attend to. The guy inquired when he was going to seek this person out for him. Tang Hao replied that it would be very soon. Yang Tian hoped that he wouldn't have to wait too long. If this kid didn't have ties with Tang Wu, the protagonist would definitely rip that rascal's hands off. Moshi asked where this friend of his came from and how they met. The protagonist replied that he was from the Bloodbat sect. The girl immediately backed away from him, because if he is from the Bloodbat sect, then he is an enemy. But the kid explained that the reason he joined this sect was so that he could become the head and be able to find one person. She asked if that person was really that important to him. He explained that this person would become an assassin of the Bloodbat sect. Yang Tian had heard that in the Bloodbat sect, the title of the head is passed down by the head himself. Therefore, he suggested that Ba Ziliang was his competitor to whom the guy had already lost. If the head of the sect finds out about his ghost sight, he won't be able to get away with it anymore. So he's thinking of using a knife, but the time hasn't come yet. As compensation, he would not tell the sect leader about the situation here. He also noticed that the guy and the girl really fit together as if they were husband and wife. In fact, the main character thinks so too. The girl starts hitting him and once again calls him a pervert who takes advantage of her. But after a nice conversation like that, the real carnage began. A bloodbath in the palace of the lord of the city. The attackers shouted to kill everyone indiscriminately. Elder Yang Wen and Lord Mo Tai of the city began to fight off this group. Lord Mo said that they need to deal with this group of brigands as quickly as possible. But these two people are too confident in their strength, and now it's time to take the pill of immortality. They had really plundered the Danding to create such a large amount of Yuanling immortality pills, a direct phenomenon of nature, the flames of a rabid lion. Who would have thought that his strength had actually doubled? A direct manifestation of nature, a sword to the executioners. The Yang family is honored to fight alongside the city lord. Although the Bloodbat sect is very powerful, but the Mo family will not yield to them. The enemy was closing in on them. Today, the Yang family came to the rescue, so the Mo family will definitely repay the favor soon. He should just hope he survives the evening, not think about some award. Yang Wen asked Lord Mo to be careful. He began to get rid of his enemies. A Yuanlin essence acts much more powerfully than a Yuanlin phantom. This is the essential difference between the phenomena of nature and Yuanlin. An ordinary Yuanlin martial artist can't withstand such power. However, the number of Bloodbat warriors is greater than Lord Mo's men, so their energy will run out sooner or later. He ordered his men to kill them all. Just then, Yang Tian burst into the battle. The girl immediately ran to her father to ask about his condition. Mo Tai replied that he had killed a few beasts from the Bloodbat sect and had gotten a bit stained with their blood. But there was nothing special about it. The guy told everyone to get ready, because a large group of people from the Bloodbat sect would be here soon. The head of the Yang family had killed more than 20 Bloodbat warriors at such a disadvantage. He's really great, but they can't let these bandits attack all together to deal with them. After all, there are less than 10 of them left. Guy will take the opportunity to disperse their forces and defeat them one by one. but Lao Go shouted for this young Tian to give up his dog life and honor his son in heaven. The Ba family conspired with the Bloodbat sect to betray Yangcheng City. For that, they already deserve to die. He is also the one to blame for the Yang family's tragedy 3 years ago. 3 years ago, he was able to kill Yang Tian's father, and today he would also be able to kill his worthless son. The guy can't live under the same sky as the one who killed his father. If Yang Tian doesn't kill him today, he will just be a disgusting son. He takes that damned old man for himself, and he leaves the rest of the followers of the Bloodbat sect to the others. It seems that he and Brother Yang will soon learn the full power of the Bloodbat sect on themselves.